Hello, and welcome to the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. I'm Abby.
And I'm Ashley.
And our podcast is all about talking about our love of Tolkien stories and maybe introducing or helping you through something you might have missed.
This season, we are covering the Unfinished Tales, Tolkien's extended versions / deleted scenes / alternate universe of a lot of the stories from the Silmarillion, plus some bonus content that didn't quite work with the Silmarillion narrative flow.
So, whether you've read every book cover to cover, or you're just here, sorry, oh gosh,
It's allergy season, man.
or you're here because you're curious about Tolkien's other works or had a hard time reading them, all are welcome.
Now let's dive into the Unfinished Tales.
Let's
go!
Okay, I have to tell you something.
Tell me something.
Okay.
Should I have popcorn or my pearls ready?
No, it's like a proud, you and I are proud moment. Okay.
Oh, this is a handkerchief to the eye?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I'm ready.
So my daughter is in 4th grade, so she's 10. And
I'm doing it already.
yeah. And if you have been listening to other episodes, this year for her birthday, I took my older two to go watch Lord of the Rings in theaters because they re-released the extended versions in theaters. And so it was a bonding moment between me and my children. It was great. And so they have newfound love and like excited nerdiness of anything Lord of the Rings, Hobbit, stuff like that, right?
Yes.
And so my daughter came home a few days ago and she's like, Mom, it's a thing across 4th grade and 5th grade too, but her class is doing it in 4th grade. And it's called, in 5th grade, it's called Teach the Teacher. In 4th grade, it's called a passion project. And so you get to choose whatever you want.
So humble the teacher or humble yourself.
Yeah. Whatever you want it to be on. You get to do a PowerPoint presentation about something. And so Luna came home and she was telling me, she's like, Mom, we're starting our passion projects at school. And I'm like, oh, that's so cool. Because it's like a big, like, before summer thing. Like, they get to do this big thing in their classroom. I was like, oh, what are you going to do it on? She's like, I already chose. And I was like, yeah. She's like, I'm going to do it on J.R.R. Tolkien. And I'm like, you are? That's so cool. And she's like, I really want to dress up for it. I want to like have like really go for it. And she like has this like really cute PowerPoint presentation. And I haven't really been helping because she's been doing it at school. So I don't even know what it like looks like. But she checked out books from the library about him and like I was like, oh my gosh. And I was like, I was like, okay. Like the proud nerd mom in me was like, yeah. So I just had to tell you that she hasn't done it yet. She's still working on it, but
You should have her watch Tolkien. The movie about it.
Yeah. Or I should upload some of the slides.
I was going to say, or we could do a whole episode. Hold on. She does the whole episode teaching us, and we do actual YouTube video. We're voicing over it, but the video is the slides.
Oh, yeah. That'd be cute.
Okay.
Anyway.
Doing it.
So I had to tell you.
Mark your calendars, people. It will come. Invite to be determined. That is adorable.
And then I asked her, I was like, what are the other kids in your class doing? And she's like, oh, my friend's doing like Pokemon, and my other friend's doing Pompeii. One of her girlfriends is doing Pompeii, which I'm like,
I want to be friends with that girl.
Oliviana. I was like, get it, Oliviana. And then she's like, and then someone's
doing Chernobyl. There's got to be one kid that's doing Chernobyl.
She's like, and then there's a kid, because I think they like put their ideas up, but you don't know who's doing what. I think they just kind of had like a list. And she's like, Mom, someone's doing one on Ryan Gosling. I'm like, is it me? Like, am I in this class? I could do that. I could do that.
Watch it be one of the boys.
It is.
My hero.
It is. It's a boy named Joe, and I love him. He's just the coolest guy. Like, I was talking to him about it, and he's like, he's so funny. He's awesome. I'm like, get it, Joe. Yeah.
Walk in his footsteps, Joe.
Yeah. His name is Joe, and his brother's name is Sam, and his other brother's name is Tom. It's pretty cute. But Yeah, it was like the Ryan Gosling one made me laugh. That could have been me, that could have been my passion project. Uh,
See, my daughter's Tolkien moment of the week was, are you on board with the book fair nonsense? Because I am not on board with the book fair nonsense. I am anti book fair. And I know that is a weird thing to say. It sounds
hot
very
take,
contradictory.
hot take.
Hot take. Because the book fair used to only be about the books, right? Like, I remember going through that little freaking catalog, circling all the books I wanted to go look at, seeing them at the book fair and be like, yes, these are the ones. And it was like $2 a book, right?
Uh-huh.
Well, in this day and age, I have with me the books that my daughter, because they even, the freaking school system, they even have them write a list. Like they have this like pre-printed list of like what they want at the book fair. They like look around and
But
then they
what if
write
they
down on
don't
the list what,
get it?
okay, I'm
Some
okay.
teachers use that though to buy that. They buy gifts for their kids. The teachers will.
No. No. So this is Lizzie's list. There is one book on this list, one book, and it's a weird book. I don't even understand it. And then the rest is one is like one of those freaking like blank notebooks that has like all the like pretty things on it. Another one is a gummy bear stuff set. No idea what that is. And then the other one is a vending machine highlighter kit. Like this is not the book fair. This is like trinket shop, right?
Yeah.
And one of these, the butterfly sketchbook is $17.
What?
$17. And the one book she wanted is $11. One book, $11. So
Huh.
and at the sale that I do every, twice a year, I bought her like 20 books for
Uh-huh.
the price of like one of those things. So I'm like, Lizzie, we did just buy you a bunch of books. I love that you want to read. I love that you want books, but I really don't. I feel like we could spend our money on other things instead. And I know it was really hard for her to understand. All the other kids are, getting their books or getting fun things at the book fair. And I'm that one parent that's like, no. And of course, like I'm like, I'm spoiling her too much. She goes, I never get what I want. You get what you want all the time. All of your Silmarillion books and all of your Silmarillion.
Deep cut. She got you. She got you.
She did. But it was just, like, so funny. She got so specific with it, and I'm like, "Only you would."
Yes,
It's
she
not your
got
Lord of the
you.
Rings crap, it's Silmarillion.
That's great.
So, I am pro book. She has 3 bookshelves of books, just for, like, the records. I'm not anti-book. I am anti-freaking book fair because it's stupid. Anyways,
Um, what was I gonna say?
I was like, "Where's your segue from that?"
No, I was gonna say, I actually talked to the book fair people because 'cause they're doing book fair right now at my kid's school, and I was like, "Where are all the, like, cool, like, fantasy kid books? Like Aragon, Redwall, or Princess Bride," like, stuff like that, and she's like, "Oh, those aren't popular really much anymore. They only like the, like."
Graphic novels?
Yeah, there's a lot of, like, Marvel graphic novels or Babysitters Clubs, which I'm like, "That's fine." But I'm like,
Yeah.
"What happened to, like, a whole genre that's not
Yeah.
at the book fair anymore?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I know." I'm like, "Ugh." I mean, it's not your job, you're just a parent volunteer who's helping
Yeah.
out with the book fair. You wouldn't
Yeah.
know, but I'm just like, "This is just kind of a bummer. Just kind of
Yeah.
a bummer."
And what's cool, like, her school does, I'm not sure how it works, but she's like, I get a free book." And I was like, "Okay." Like, "Do you have a price range?" Or, like, and then, I'm like, "Yeah, you choose whatever you want for your free book. Like, I'm not a monster. Like, I'm not saying you have to choose this one."
"We
And she
don't
chose
believe in books in this place.
see, like,
We
I'm
don't
not
take free
unreasonable.
handouts of books in his place."
But she chose a Descendants graphic novel. And I'm like, "Sure, fine, whatever." And then, I've been trying to get her to read the Percy Jackson books because she loves the movie. She loves, like, Greek mythology stuff, and I was like, "Freaking best of both worlds." And she goes, "They had the graphic novel of Percy Jackson." I was like, "I'm fine with that, but I also feel like graphic novels are kind of cheating." Am I the only one that thinks
Yeah.
this? It's a good intro, but,
It's
like,
that's
what
funny you
happened?
say that because I banned one of my children from reading them because he actually wasn't reading.
That's my point. Like, I am all for that as, like, a tool or, like, a fun but, like, also you need to be able to read a chapter book that doesn't have pictures.
And can I tell you, he wouldn't tell
Sorry,
me
hot take
any
parenting moment right now.
okay, last thing before we move on. He
Yeah,
couldn't tell me anything that happened in the graphic novels because he actually wasn't reading the words, but when I took them away and I gave him, like I think it was like a Goosebumps book, like something small but still had just chapters and no
yeah.
pictures, he was so excited to talk to me about that book, tell me everything that was going on, like, "Oh, because you actually are enjoying the story with the
Yep.
words,
Mhm.
the book part."
The book. Yeah.
Anyway, talking about books, let's talk about some
Talking about
books.
books. Excellent segue. I love it. So just so you know, there is light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like we've been on Aldarion for freaking years now. We are
I'm
getting
over that
so
guy.
close to being done.
Can I say?
So close.
I'm over that guy.
I know.
He's pretty he's pretty lame.
He's pretty lame. Well, how much do you
Evidently
remember
not so
of
lame
this lame
because
guy?
didn't Gil-galad, like, talk him up in his letter, like, "He is the best guy. He helped us out so much. Thank you for sending him to us, and when I needed help, he came and helped me, and he was, like, a good person to have on our team to tell us all these strategic, like, military things, and we feel bad for keeping him so long from you guys, but we just needed his help," or something like that, right?
Mhm.
Wasn't that his
Mhm.
whole letter?
Exactly.
When
Yeah, that
and we
was
were like
basically the whole letter.
and then
And
us as
asking
the audience
the king of Númenor, like, "Hey, this growing evil that's coming. We would really appreciate your help." That was yeah, that's pretty much the extent of the letter.
and then we as the audience were like, "Who? Who is he talking about? Is that is that the same
This that
guy?"
this is not the same guy. He must be confused.
But also, like we also I think we had the conversation that so much heartbreak in his relation Aldarion's relationships that like his wife, his child, his mom and dad, like all these things could have been solved if he just would have said, "Hey, I'm helping the elves on Middle Earth with a problem."
Yeah.
Why did he have to be so
Suffer in silence.
secretive
So, yeah.
and not say anything? It's not like he's, like, is working for a shadow government that can't be like, Gil-galad clearly told Meneldur, "Hey, this is what's going on." It's not a secret,
Yeah.
evidently. So,
Mhm.
but then
Also, interesting
the
that
king
this was the first time Gil-galad reached out to him after I mean,
ma
he's been voyaging over there for years.
yeah, I mean, if he knew Aldarion was going back and forth, he could have give Aldarion a letter to give to Gil-galad, but
Right.
who knows?
Yeah. "Who is this man that keeps stealing my son?"
Who are you?
So with this choice, this impossible choice that Meneldur is asked, like, do we help the people of Middle Earth? We did our time. We earned this, peace. So do we go back into the fray and help fight this, mysterious evil, or do we stay out of it and hope that we can stay out of it? It's like what to do, what to do. You know what? I don't want to make this
What to
decision. You know what?
do, what to do.
I'm going to make my son I'm choose it by handing him the scepter early. That's what I'm gonna do. But maybe not. Maybe he's like really on the fence about it. And then we change scenes to Aldarion hearing all the gossip about him, and he's just like, "Ugh, I don't want to be the source of all of this drama." And so he throws a hissy fit and he tears down his house, cuts down all the trees except that the one the elves gave him as a wedding present, and he softens just enough at the end to name it after his daughter in Calumet.
Cool.
Yeah,
What a cool guy.
yeah. But I named a tree after you. Isn't that what a good dad
Enough.
does? Yeah. Okay. It's gonna get even better from here. So, Aldarion has now been home from MRIA for 3 days. He has had enough time to sulk, get mad about all the gossip, throw a fit cutting and burning things, and now perhaps he has calmed down some because he has decided he wants to talk to the king, aka Daddy Meneldur. Meneldur is sitting in his chair watching his son enter the room, and the sight of Aldarion actually scares Meneldur. This man is not the same man he was when he got off the ship. Quote, "For Aldarion was changed. His face was become gray, cold, and hostile, as the sea when the sun is suddenly veiled in dull cloud. Standing before his father, he spoke slowly, with tone of contempt rather than of wrath."
Ooh, is it like, when I don't know if your parents did this, but when they were mad, my mom would whisper or, like, get really quiet, and it was scarier to me than, like, being
Please
yelled
shout. Just
at.
please shout.
She'd, like, get really quiet, and she'd be like, "Why did you think that that was I was like,
Yeah.
"It's
My dad
scary."
had a look, and he didn't even have to say a freaking thing. It was just his look.
I've nailed the chilly look from Bluey for Oakley, where, like, I don't even say anything, and I look at him, and he goes, "I'm sorry. I'm sorry." I'm like, "That's
I
right."
never I never nailed that look. So, in case you were wondering, the exact definition, like, what is the difference between contempt and wrath? So, contempt is feeling that a person or a thing is beneath consideration, worthless, deserving scorn. And wrath is like intense, violent anger. So, contempt would be like looking down on someone, and wrath would be like lashing out at someone. So, Aldarion is feeling like better than Meneldur here, that he has, like, a right to, you know, say that he did wrong or something. He's
So
not
is he, like,
exactly
being
mad.
cold? Is he being
Yeah.
cold, like,
Yes.
no emotion back to what his dad kinda thing?
Yeah. I can't wait to hear how Aldarion thinks he has the right to look down on anyone, but sure, let's hear him out. Aldarion says, quote, "What part you have played in this you yourself know best, but a king should consider how much a man will endure, though he be a subject, even his own son. If you should shackle me to this island, then you choose your chain ill."
Ooh.
Like, Daddy, it's so unfair that you make me want to stay on this beautiful island and be its king one day. How dare you? Daddy, I
How
don't want to
dare
stay
you?
in the peaceful island.
Where everything is gifted to me, and the people are nice, and there is no want for nothing.
And I
Mm.
have a wife and a child who could love me if I wasn't such a jerk.
Yeah. Uh,
So
come on,
he
man.
continues, quote, "I have now neither wife nor love of this land left. I will go from this misenchanted isle of daydreams, where women in their insolence would have men cringe."
Oh, okay.
That's like, yeah. "This place is the worst, Daddy, and all the women are mean to me, Daddy."
Why is she being so
Misenchanted
mean?
Isle of Daydreams. I
Just
never
because I
consider
leave her for 14 years or whatever. She had to be so
what gives her the
rude.
right. I know. Insolence that would have men cringe. Like, how dare they, like, think anything that would make me be uncomfortable or
How
say or
dare
do
she
anything
be mad at me?
make me feel guilty.
Yeah.
He says, quote, "I will use my days to some purpose elsewhere, where I am not scorned, more welcome in honor. Another heir you may find more fit for a house servant."
No.
So, like, he's
Drama.
he's considering his job as heir to the kingdom being a house servant. I'm sure the
This is
house servants
so
would beg to differ.
boring, Daddy. Yeah. I don't see Meneldur cleaning out no chamber pots or
Yeah.
making beds and
Mhm.
starting fires and making food and
Yeah. You think this his life on this island was him locked up in a room somewhere, but he had multiple opportunities and ways of having a purpose on the island as well. He is the Lord of Trees or whatever. Like, he actually did a very great job at that, like making sure that the trees were sustainable, that they didn't, overcut, and make sure that the wood was, used properly. Like, that, why wasn't that enough? Or just even sailing around the island. Why did he have to go all the way to Middle Earth to get his purpose?
I don't know. I don't know. Any of his excuses would not be good enough for me, I feel.
Yeah. Quote, of my inheritance I demand only this. The ship Hirolande, and as many men as it will hold. My daughter I would take also, were she older, but I will commend her to my mother. Unless you dote upon sheep, you will not hinder this, and will not suffer the child to be stunted, reared among mute women in cold insolence and contempt of her kin. She is of the line of Elros, and no other descendant will you have through your son. I have done. I will now go about business more profitable.
He only
Of my
sees
inheritance,
her.
I demand a ship.
Yeah. It's like how he talks about his daughter is like a thing is kind of like,
Hmm.
oh, that's that's not great.
Yeah. I would take her on my ship, but I don't want to deal with an 8-year-old on a ship. So just give her to my mother. I'm sure she'll be fine.
There ain't another one of those, so make sure she's safe because you're
Yeah.
not getting another one from me.
Yeah. But like he wants to have his daughter taken from her mother, who I understand he's not in favor of at the moment, but a mother is a mother. It's not like she's, you know, a bad mother. She's not, she is well taken care of.
Uh-huh.
She's not neglectful or abusive or anything. And he's like ordering it to be done. He doesn't want any responsibility or part in it. I mean, I don't think she is in the best environment ever. I'm not sure if she's thriving necessarily.
Yeah.
But if you're going to remove her from this environment, you need to step in and do your part too, buddy. Like, you can't just pawn her off on someone else if you are the one wanting the change.
Yeah, you can't just rip her away from her home and be like, "I'm taking her out of here, but I don't want anything to do with her or, like,
Yeah.
helping her. Just go put her somewhere else. Just take her
Yeah.
out of that place and put her somewhere else."
Yeah. And I wonder what other profitable business he's referring to. Is he just going to set sail and head back to Middle Earth and just live there from, forever? He just is going to go into like
Firewood business.
exile? A firework business. I know he's going to take a
Firewood. He can
pleasure
do boat
cruises.
tours, yeah.
Yeah, Middle Earth. Yeah, pleasure cruises, boat tours.
And on your left, you'll see stuff like
And on
that.
your
He could do
right, we
that.
would have Númenor if they weren't a bunch of jerks.
Everybody boo at Númenor. Boo! Boo!
Now, I can just imagine Meneldur sitting there thinking, this is the guy I want to pass my scepter to. But no, instead, Meneldur is just sitting there trying to be a good dad and listen to his son, and he's just sitting there waiting patiently. Quote, thus far, Meneldur had sat in patience with downcast eyes and made no sign. But now he sighed and looked up.
He's probably so tired. He's probably like, "Where did my cute little boy go?
Yeah.
That was, like, so fun to be around." Now he's a jerk.
And, as I was reading this, but now he sighed and looked up, and I like could feel that sigh. I literally sighed just reading it. Like, like
Yeah.
I agree, Meneldur. Let's just heavy sigh at him for a second. Okay, so what's going to be his
And I want
response
him to
here?
look up, like, not at Aldarion, but, like, at the ceiling, like
Yeah. Okay, so he's demanding his ship. He doesn't want to be the king's heir anymore. He hates Númenor. He doesn't think he's even married anymore. His daughter, he doesn't want anything to do with her. He just wants her brought up better than with his, stinky wife that he doesn't like anymore. He's going to go elsewhere and, good luck, Dad. What is Daddy Meneldur going to say to that?
Well, hopefully, he's a good grandpa and says, like, "Hey, we'll check in on your daughter, make sure she's okay." Like, hopefully, he's a good grandpa in that way, and a good father-in-law, and checks up on them. But other than that, I don't know what he'd say. He kinda surprised me.
He does surprise me. Like, as lenient, I will say, he has been with Aldarion. He loves his son, and it shines through the pages how much he loves his son. And
Yeah.
he's tried to work with him as much as, Aldarion has been rebellious. He says, quote, the king would say that you also show cold insolence and contempt of your kin, and yourself condemn others unheard. But your father who loves you and grieves for you will remit that.
Oh.
Like, you aren't being too warm and fuzzy right now either, buddy. And it's not like you are hearing anyone out regarding their frustrations either. But of course, Daddy Meneldur won't hold that against his boy who he loves so much. He's like, I'll let that one slide just because I love you.
But your father who loves you and grieves for you, which is also sad.
Yeah. He says, quote, "The fault is not mine only, that I have not ere now understood your purposes." So again, like you were saying, how come you never told me the other purpose of you going to Middle Earth so often? Like it,
A lot of things could have been cleared up if you would
yeah,
have just told us.
yeah. He says, quote, "But as for what you have suffered, of which, alas, too many now speak, I am guiltless. Erendis I have loved, and since our hearts lean the same way, I have thought that she had much to endure that was hard. So, like you said, he's a great father in law. But for what you have suffered, alas, too many now speak." Like, yeah, this whole drama with your wife sounds rough. And yeah, a lot of people are gossiping about it, but I didn't do anything. I love your wife. And, we both want you to be happy, but we also both want you to stay on Numenor. And so I can't not see that it's been hard for her too. I can't only be on your side here because I do see her points.
Yeah. Yep. He's a good guy. He's a good
He's
king.
a he's a good king. He says, quote, "Your purposes are now become clear to me. Though if you are in mood to hear aught but praise, I would say that at first your own pleasure also led you. And it may be that things would have been otherwise if you had spoken more openly long ago." Like, it's a valiant
Tell
cause that you
us
want.
what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just tell us.
Like, it was a valiant cause that are trying to help Middle Earth and Gil-galad, but let's be real here. That wasn't the only reason you kept going back to Middle Earth. Your intentions weren't selfless. I do think maybe if I had to put like a ratio on it, I'd say 70% wanting, independence and wanting to neglect responsibilities. 30% helping Middle Earth. Like, that's what I think.
Yeah.
Am I wrong?
I know, okay, I'm probably gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I know there is a certain breed of partner in relationships out there in the world where, like, I don't know, I'll pick something simple, where they're like, "I have a family at home," like, let's say I have, like, a wife and, like, young children at home, and I work all week, and then a weekend comes, but I'm gonna choose to go on a, like, hunting trip or a golf thing or a, boys trip or whatever, and still and be gone for so long, and then come home and expect my family to be like, "Oh, it's so good to see," like, there was it was a choice of I wanted time by myself away from my family when
And it's okay to have
it's
hobbies.
a
It's okay to do those things,
it
but you gotta
is,
make up for it.
it is,
You
but
gotta
it's
be there
also
when you are
like
there.
he wasn't forced to do these things.
Right.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
for sure.
That's the
Yeah,
difference. If it
yeah.
was a job with a boss saying, "We need you to do this," like Gil-galad saying, "Hey, we really like your help with this." And he goes, "Yes, I am here to help you." There's that aspect, but then there's the aspect of, "I just wanna go because I just don't wanna be home, and I don't want
I
the
got the itch
responsibilities of
again.
wanting to be
The
home."
sea is calling me. I gotta
Like,
I gotta go. I can't take
I
a
want
message.
to have my own schedule. I want to have, you know, my own not have to worry about other
Mm,
people in my life kinda thing, which
then why get married?
I've seen a lot I've seen relationships have that
Yeah,
in it. Not mine
yeah.
all the time, but I've seen other relationships like that where I'm like, "That's tough." To be like,
Yeah.
Well, there's the balance of, yes, it's okay to have hobbies, but when it is a priority over your family, that's a
Yeah.
little that's a little rough.
Yeah.
So, that's why I kinda
And,
have,
like
like, no sympathy for him, getting his wife hating him and, like, taking his daughter away and, like, all that stuff.
Mhm.
So, it's a little
And he's
hard
gone
for
for
me to find any
years, not a
redeeming
week.
qualities.
Yeah. He's not gone for the weekend. He's gone for years.
Yeah.
Like, that's a big difference as well.
Also
But oh,
also,
go ahead.
tiny little tangent, I feel the same way about dudes. It's mostly dudes. I'm not being sexist, I'm saying that it's only dudes, there's some ladies, but mostly dudes who do extreme, scary sports or extreme, like, adrenaline junkie things, like, "I'm gonna go climb Mount Everest." You don't have to, actually. You don't have to do that. You don't have to sacrifice like, put your life on the line if you have a family at home, well, hoping you'd be okay just because you're like, "I feel like I can do it." Actually, you don't. You don't have to do that.
Yeah.
It's stuff like that for me or, like, cave diving, like, cliff jumping, those people who scale buildings or rock faces with no equipment, stuff like that. I'm like, "Nope, nope." Anyway, sorry,
Because
I've
not
got
only are you
opinions.
not with them, but now they're worrying about you.
Yeah, I've got opinions. Anyway.
Anyway, so I feel like Meneldur is handling this actually very well. He's being very reasonable, very rational. None of it is like necessarily accusing or mean. Um, he's saying, well, you haven't been the best about that either, to be fair, but I'm willing to let certain things slide here because I love you, but let's talk about this. But that doesn't matter to Aldarion because apparently he replies in a cry that becomes increasingly hotly. Cry as in
Oh,
like
his
yell, not
temperature's
like,
rising.
yeah.
He's getting like, he thought he was being calm at first, but now he's starting to
Now the wrath comes in.
pick
Yeah.
up the pace of the emotions here.
Yeah. And I do think it's funny that they keep referring to the king in like it's a different entity. That is not his father. It is the king. And then also Menazor's replies, the king. Like it's this other entity that's involved here. It's not
He's
the
got his dad he took off his dad hat, and now he's
yes.
got the king crown on.
Hmm. Quote, the king may have some grievance in this, but not the one you speak of. To her, at least, I spoke long and often, to cold ears and uncomprehending. As well might a truant, or absent, boy talk of tree climbing to a nurse, anxious only about the tearing of clothes and the due time of meals. I love her, or I should care less. The past I will keep in my heart. The future is dead. She does not love me or aught else. She loves herself with Númenor as a setting and myself as a tame hound to drowse by the hearth until she has a mind to walk in her own fields. But since hounds now seem too gross, she will have Encalame to pipe in a cage. But enough of this. Have I the king's leave to depart, or has he some command?
Oh.
I don't think that is fair at all.
Yeah. Mm. I
So,
didn't do anything
first
wrong,
off,
Daddy. I don't know why she's
yes,
mad at me.
yes.
Daddy.
Like, she heard me, and I tried telling her all the things, but she just worried about her. She just wants me to lay at her feet and then, let me out when she wants. Daddy.
It's not fair.
Yeah. And now she's doing the same doing Calumet. I'm not sure about that, but,
Uh,
and it takes two people to lie themselves into a marriage in this situation. I don't think he was entirely truthful on his part either. Yes, I love the sea, but you know what? I love you too. And he like tricked her. Like he was trying to play the part of, the Lord of Trees and walking the pastures of Emarai with her, He played the suitor very well, but the real person he kept hidden for quite some time, I think. Like, what does he even love about her, too?
Yeah. Was that called masking?
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
But I also feel like he was feeling like, I have to check off the checklist of being king. I have to find a wife. I have to
Yeah.
find blah, blah, blah. I gotta do all the normal things. And then if I do enough good normal things, then they might let it slide that I'll be gone for a while.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. And he still hasn't answered the question. Why didn't he tell anyone about his other reason for going to Middle Earth? Like, is it really that big of a secret? Like, I just don't
Is
understand.
he undercover? Is he a double agent with
Sauron.
Sauron?
I mean, maybe. Okay, so what is Meneldur going to do from here? He can't let Aldarion go because he's asking, am I free to leave or is there something else you need, sir? If he lets Aldarion go, he for sure won't come back this time. Like he said, his chain to Númenor doesn't exist anymore. He doesn't care about Númenor, the crown, his wife. He kind of seems to care about his daughter. Put that, with a grain of salt. But I think he would just rather her be with anyone else. He wants his daughter to be with anyone else but Erendis, because if she is with Erendis, then she wins. But if he takes her away and has someone else raise her, he wins.
This is like
It's
some like
Jerry Springer custody
Jerry
battle.
Springer, yes, like some sad poor kid caught in the middle of like, I'm just doing this to get back at your mother who like deserves all the bad things happen to her. It's like, well, she's had bad things happen to her because of you. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get
Mhm.
it, but
Mhm.
that's
So
sad.
he can't use any of those bargaining chips. Like, but you have a wife. I don't have a wife. Okay. But Númenor needs you. I don't like Númenor. Okay. How about your daughter? She's gross. She's baby. I mean, she's
Yeah.
useful later, I guess, but
Have you seen her? She's tiny. She can't do anything. Could she help on the ship? No. What does Luke from Gilmore Girls say? Kids, they're always sticky. Why are they sticky?
jam hands.
Yeah.
So, how is Meneldur going to get Aldarion to stay on Númenor? He tells Aldarion very kindly that he has read the letter from Gilgalad and that it was very earnest and in graven tone. But, and just a warning, like I said, they keep referring to each other as like the king and like this random other entity. So it just, you have to kind of get on board with that. He says, quote, "Alas, to his," meaning Gilgalad's, "prayer and your wishes the king of Númenor must say, nay, he cannot do otherwise, according to his understanding of the perils of either course, to prepare for war or not to prepare."
So he's saying
So
he can't leave?
he can't leave. And he's like, I have no choice. As far as I can tell, there's perils in both decisions. Now, you would think that if this cause, to fight for Middle Earth that he's been working years to help had been important to Aldarion. He's been spending so much time over there. He's been building up his little haven. He's been working on that for years. This relationship that he's had with Gilgalad and Círdan and strategic planning. And, you know, if this was so important to Aldarion and to hear this, yeah, sorry, we can't help, you think Aldarion would be pissed and he'd be like, no, you have to listen. This Middle Earth is a great place. We deserve to, help them and they need our help, Dad. But instead, quote, Aldarion shrugged his shoulders and took a step as if to go.
It's the "Meh,
Yeah,
okay. Alright. Whatever."
whatever. Like, that's it? Like, what? But, like, I don't understand. So maybe it's more of a 90% selfish, wanting to be free and, rebel, and 10% wanting to help Middle Earth. Is he just humoring Gilgalad? Like, yeah, we'll totally help you. Like, just it's full of empty promises. I just don't understand.
Hmm.
But luckily, the drama is not over as Meneldur raises his hand in like a wait signal. And he says, quote, "Nevertheless, The king, though he has now ruled the land of Númenor for 142 years, has no certainty that his understanding of the matter is sufficient for a just decision in matters of high import and peril. Like, I've only been the king in Númenor here for a mere 142 years, but what do I know? And
I
then
mean,
Meneldur.
I will say this is a new problem for him. Like, he's never
Hmm.
really had war be something he's had to deal with, right?
Yeah,
Like, he's
yeah. Outside
been
of
pretty
Númenor, he doesn't.
peaceful.
Yeah, it's just more about
Uh,
keeping Númenor happy and, in a good place, honoring the Valar. That's mainly been his jam. But yeah, as far as like there's other worlds out there. Yeah, other people. Yeah, I forgot about that. Um, so to that, Meneldur pulls out a piece of parchment that he has written down the following pronouncement.
it's a
Quote.
pros and cons list.
I mean, that's what I would do. Quote, therefore, first for the honor of his well-beloved son, and second for the better direction of the realm and courses which his son more clearly understands, the king has resolved that he will forthwith resign the scepter to his son, who shall now become Tar Aldarion the king. Okay, we apologize for any editing issues here. My internet was completely fine. It's got all the bars are all full, but I was like, you know what? Reconnecting. Like, what? To what? You connected. So, where did we leave off? So, Meneldur has been king for 142 years, and he's very humbly saying, you know what? There might be people in the world who know more than I do about ruling, such as my son, who is, so smart and, has all the wisdom. Uh-huh. Um, and so he's reading this proclamation to Aldarion, and he's like, and I shall now resign from the kingdom, and now my son will be the king. I can't help but think this is a horrible decision. I really want to hear Meneldor's wife's opinion about this. Better yet, I would love to hear Erendis's take. I'm like, do you think I should give my son the scepter early? Like, what do you think?
You think he does a good job at doing this stuff, right? Right?
Yeah. Meneldur explains that once this statement has been proclaimed to all of Númenor, that it will, quote, raise you above scorn, and it will set free your powers so that other losses may seem more easy to endure. The letter of Gilgalad, when you are king, you shall answer as seems fit to the holder of the scepter.
So now you get to make the choice.
But yeah, so instead of, being sad about losing your wife, losing your daughter, losing your home, here, take a whole kingdom. That should fix it. Like,
'Cause you love responsibility, don't
and
you?
you love Numenor, so I mean, everybody wins. Aldarion just stands there shocked. He expected his dad to be angry with him. In fact, he even said things to kind of encourage that anger. He was wanting to pick a fight.
Mhm.
That way, it was more Meneldor's fault. I had to leave because he was so mad at me. Um, it's kind of Aldarion's way. Like, you just keep pushing and pushing until they push you back. And like, no, no. Like, see, it was their fault, not mine.
Yeah.
But now that his dad completely went off script, that, the script that Aldarion had in his mind, he's just really confused. Quote, then, as one swept from his feet by a sudden wind from a quarter unexpected, he fell to his knees before his father. But after a moment, he raised his bowed head and laughed. So he always did when he heard of any deed of great generosity, for it gladdened his heart. I'm not sure if generosity is the right word I would use here.
Yeah.
This was strategic.
Hmm.
Now, this is when I respectfully disagree with those that say Aldarion never wanted to be king, because this reply here, as he says, quote, Father, ask the king to forget my insolence to him, for he is a great king, and his humility sets him far above my price. I am conquered. I submit myself wholly. That such a king should resign the scepter while in vigor and wisdom is not to be thought.
So he's not
Like, you
saying
shouldn't
no.
have daddy. Yeah, you shouldn't have daddy. Like, he's really sucking up here, in my opinion. Like, what a wise king to make such a decision. I am, and I am not worthy of such a decision.
Yeah.
Such a king that should let go the scepter while they are still, in their prime. And have I mentioned your, you look so great lately. Have you lost
And
weight? Did you
yeah,
just get a
yeah.
haircut?
Your beard looks great today.
Did you want to go look at those stars, Daddy? Um, but like if being a mariner and just sailing the seas was the only thing he wanted to do, I think he would have denied this offer, or he would have, said, I grateful, but thanks, but no thanks, And Meneldur takes this as, an acceptance. He says, quote, "Yet so it is resolved, the council shall be summoned forthwith." Now,
Um,
this has to go through the clearance of the council. How do you think this conversation's going to go down? This council that has known or at least heard of Aldarion's personality and history over the years, how would you feel if out of the blue the king was like, "So, that son that has been so unreliable and doesn't really have any
like,
investment in Numenor?
doesn't really
What if
like
I named
Númenor,
him?"
actually.
Yeah. What if I named him king? I think I got this great idea, you guys.
And it's so funny because, like, some of them are probably like, "Who? Who are you talking about? Wait,
He
that
has a
guy?"
son? And that is pretty much how they took it. First with amazement, they're like, "What?" And then they start pleading and begging Meneldur to not give up the crown. Like, "Please, my lord, you're the prime of your life. Why would you give it up now? Please, anyone but him."
"Please, please."
There's only
Ugh,
one person on the council who seemed to be on board, and that is Aldarion's distant relation we've talked about a few times here and there, Halatan of Hyara Sorny. You remember that guy?
Halatan.
Halatan, one of his kinsmen on the ship, and then that kinsman came home, and everyone was like happy to see him, and then Aldarion was like came to like pick him up, and he's like, "Oh, this is not like my homecoming. That makes me sad." And then that whole
Oh,
story line there.
that kid's
Yes, the kid.
dad.
Yeah. So Halatan would be his grandfather, I think.
So he says that he should be king?
Mm-hmm.
He's saying yes? Oh,
Mm-hmm. Quote, "For he had long held his kinsman Aldarion in esteem, though his own life and likings were far otherwise, and he judged the king's deed to be noble, and times with shrewdness, if must be."
I mean, he's probably spent the most time with him, so
Yeah,
who knows?
yeah. So Halatan may not know all the details, but he is maybe kind of reading between the lines that there may be a noble reason to his timing of passing on the scepter. Like there's got to be a reason he's doing this. Meneldor's not an idiot. He knows that son maybe not the best choice, but maybe this is the best choice for Aldarion. The timing it can't be, an accident here.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I guess he knows him better than anyone.
Yeah. So, to everyone else on the council, Meneldur told them he didn't come to this decision lightly, that he has already considered all of their arguments, no matter how wise the point that they're trying to, make. He's made this choice at this time for a reason he can't really give details on, but it's a good reason. But just so they don't all freak out, he agrees to hold on to the scepter until the next special Numenorian holiday, which, knowing Aldarion and his history, guess what holiday it is? Is it the fall one? Is it the summer one? Or is
Is it
it
the weird one where they can't talk on the mountain or whatever?
well, that's all of the holidays that they can't talk on the mountain. But this is happening
Is
during
it the
the
one where they fell in
springtime.
love?
Yes, the
Well,
springtime. So he was married in the springtime one. His daughter was born in the springtime one. He was named heir in this, like everything happens in the springtime festival of Eru Kairame.
uh,
Yeah, wonder why. Rebirths, new beginnings. Tolkien wants some poetry there.
okay.
So, With everyone at least settled down for now in Armenelos, news spreads around Númenor as it does until it reaches Erendis in Emeria. How do you think she's going to react to this news?
She's a tough one. I don't know. Her responses to things have been different from what I thought she'd do, so I'm not sure.
Well, she immediately thought that Meneldur was punishing her.
You have to be queen now, and you have to come live with us now.
If there was a more important meaning behind this action, she couldn't think of it. Quote, she read therein a rebuke by the king in whose favor she had trusted.
Okay, I'm only gonna say this once. I feel like she is, like, finding fault in a lot of things to sound like she's being picked on.
Yeah,
That's just me. That's what I'm hearing.
yeah. I feel like she does play that card every once in a while. And now this is her reaction from just the official proclamation that went out. Later on, because Meneldur really likes his daughter-in-law and he wants to reach out to her and I'm sure explain things. So a personal letter from Meneldur arrives that ended up being a command indeed, though graciously worded, that her and Encalame were to come to Armenelos at least until the Erukairame for the proclamation of the new king. It's like, why don't you come to Armenelos, stick around, stay. This is a good thing for the people to see that, the family's united. Numenor has a good king coming on its way with a good, family support. Just until, like, let's put on a good face until the crowning, and then, we'll see what happens after that.
Oof. That's a tall order. That's a tall
Yeah.
order for
Hmm.
that poor girl.
Yeah. Her reaction to this letter, quote, he is swift to strike. So I should have foreseen. He will strip me of all, but myself he shall not command, though it be by the mouth of his father. So she sees this as a letter more from Aldarion. This isn't like kind offer, like, hey, why don't you come and, we'll, spend time in our Menelaus together. This is like a revenge. Like, hey, you know how you like treated me mean and basically acted like I wasn't your husband? Well, now I'm going to make you fake like you're my wife in front of everyone. Like, it's a retribution on the part of Aldarion to get back at her, and
I
it's
feel like
revenge.
and then I also think that it's kind of like, I'm in control, you have to look like you like me, you have to, like, be under my, like, "Yes, she's the wife of the new king, like, she loves the new king, blah, blah, blah," and, like, embarrassing her a little bit, like,
Yeah.
that kinda
Yeah.
thing. That's sad.
Mhm. Yeah. So she sends a letter back to Meneldur saying, quote, king and father, my daughter and Calamate must come indeed, if you command it. I beg that you will consider her years and see that she is lodged in quiet. For myself, I pray you to excuse me. I learned that my house in Armenelos has been destroyed, and I would not at this time willingly be a guest, least of all upon a house ship among mariners. Here then permit me to remain in my solitude, unless it be the king's will also to take back this house. I don't know whether to
So,
cheer for her here or feel sorry for her, but
she stood up for herself,
dang,
she
she
put
stood up for
boundaries in
herself.
place.
I do love that she's like, please take in consideration, and Calame's a young kid, and she's grown up in this um, convent of quiet. So just make sure that she's lodged somewhere quiet. Okay. Might be a
So she's
little,
sending her she's
jarring for
sending
her.
her daughter by herself?
Yes.
Oh.
She's saying, like, I understand if you need Calame there. She's, Aldarion's daughter too. If she has to come, yes, and Calame will go. But, I would rather not. Where would I even stay? Because Armenelos, my house was destroyed. I'm not going on his freaking houseboat of a ship. So I will just stay here unless you want to take my house too. Do you want to take this house too? Can I keep this house that you gave me? Is that still okay? And poor Meneldur, he receives this letter and is like, I don't really feel like she's talking to me here, son. Like, you read it, Aldarion. So, quote, he showed it to Aldarion, to whom it seemed chiefly aimed. Then Aldarion read the letter, and the king, regarding the face of his son, said, Doubtless you are grieved, but for what else did you hope? Like, how did you think she
That
was
was a
going to react,
stretch,
dude?
dude. Yeah. That was a tall order. What
Yes.
was the outcome you think was gonna happen? Because that was, like, a stretch even for you.
Yeah. Now, are you ready for Aldarion's reaction? Can you handle the drama? Do you
Ooh,
have your
he's got
popcorn
funky
ready?
reactions. Is he gonna yell? Is he gonna freak out? Or is he gonna walk away quietly like he's done other times?
Yeah. Oh, no, this is not a quiet. Get your popcorn ready, guys. Quote, not for this, at least. It is far below my hope of her. She has dwindled, and if I have wrought this, then black is my blame. But do the large shrink in adversity? This was not the way, not even in hate or revenge. Should she have demanded that a great house be prepared for her, called for a queen's escort, and come back to Menelaus with her beauty adorned royally with the star on her brow, then well nigh all the isle of Númenor she might have bewitched her part, and made me see madman and churl. The Valar be my witness. I would rather have had it so, rather a beautiful queen to thwart me and flout me, than freedom to rule while the Lady Elistyrne falls down dim into her own twilight. And in case you don't remember, Lady Elistir- Elistirne. I'm trying to remember how to say it, sorry. That's the Lady of the Starbrow because she wore the jewel that Aldarion gave her forever ago as a kind of headdress on her brow. Do you remember that?
Which I really want for
I
myself.
know.
I think that'd be
Yeah.
beautiful.
So Aldarion's not is mad because she isn't playing the queen card here, which I don't think Erendis ever wanted to be queen. She just wanted the man. So I don't really get his thought process here. So like, I would have respected her if she had pulled out, I am queen, build me my own house. Look at me and my beautiful regalness. Isn't Aldarion a madman for thinking he could spend so much time away from he? Isn't that crazy? Like, that's not the woman you married, though. Like, who does. I don't understand.
It's his fault that she's, like, calloused and, like,
But I don't
not
even see that in her
accepting.
nature, though. She's not a queen.
Yeah,
She is a girl.
she's
Like,
a country girl.
yeah. So Aldarion gives a bitter laugh, hands the letter back to his dad, and says, quote, well, so it is. If one has a distaste to dwell on a ship among mariners, another may be excused dislike of a sheep farm among serving women. But I will not have my daughter so schooled. At least she shall choose by knowledge. And with that, he stood up and begged leave to go.
Wow. This is like an episode of Maury? Jerry
Maury, yeah.
Springer? Wow. Drama.
Yeah. She doesn't want to dwell in my house, but I don't want to stay in her sheep farm. So there.
Yeah. Sheep
Yeah.
stink anyway.
Yeah. And that's actually where I'm going to leave you today.
Ugh. Drama. I love
Mm-hmm.
it. Live for it. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying this soap opera of a relationship that's going on. The back and forth, the custody battles, the long work trips, the war that's on the horizon,
Hmm.
him becoming king, not wanting to be king, now wanting to be king. It's all of it. It has it all.
Yeah. Well, thank you for joining us on this journey through Middle Earth. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Sisters of the Shire Podcast. Big thank you to our patrons, Dan, Kevin, Victoria, Avery, and Ryan. Your support keeps us going, and we are forever grateful. I actually, after I created this outline, I saw that we had a new patron, so we will sing to you next week. I'm so sorry.
A new patron.
I know. I totally forgot until I started reading these out loud. I'm so sorry. Patreon doesn't send me what you'd think, like, hey, you have a new patron. It's more like I happen to be looking and like, oh, there's a new patron.
We won't forget you next time, we
No,
promise.
we promise. I'm so sorry. And their name, and honestly, this isn't their name. Unless it is your name, then I have so many questions for you. But I also kind of love it if you did what I think you did. So it looks like Anna, so like ANNA, and then it's one word, but it's a capital T, Tar. So Anatar. So like, Sauron's
What?
name. But if her name is actually Anna, then I applaud you. That is amazing. So we will sing you our lovely welcome song next week, which
That's
I'm sure you're so
awesome.
excited for. If not, then that's still cool. So if you would like to join our podcast and have us sing to you and shout you out or shout out your business or whatever,
Maybe come on for an episode.
yes, maybe receive an Abby goodie bag. You can go to patreon.com/Sisters of the Shire podcast. Starting at $3 a month, you can join as an elf friend of the Shire. $7 makes you a dwarf friend of the Shire. And $9 gets you as one of our women friends of the Shire. If you can't do that, we understand. Please leave us a rating or review. It really helps the algorithms and helps people find us. So, yeah.
The algorithms.
The
Um,
algorithms.
I was actually thinking of a new little goodie to send out for all of our patrons. So
Ooh.
I know. So it's on my brain right now. So
Okay,
because
okay.
sports are ending. Well, one sport is ending, and then we have two sports that are starting this
Gosh.
month. So the one that I'm more involved in is ending. So I will have more time.
Isn't our
So
podcast birthday coming up next month? Maybe we could do it for that.
our podcast birthday's in
May.
3 weeks. 3 weeks?
I
No,
think so. I just remember
is
being
it?
around Nate's birthday and being like, huh, that's funny. I
Yeah.
mean to do that.
4 years, right? 4 years?
It's been so long.
Yeah.
It's wild. And we've gotten through a book and a half. I mean, that's a little.
Hey, I had a kid. Like it's all, we've done a lot of amazing things.
We have. We have. As far as world news goes, the Netherlands is going up again. Bangladesh is going up, and Croatia going up, on up, on up.
Ooh.
Yeah. So keep listening. If you have some, nation pride and want to shout out, I'm the one from Croatia, we're happy to hear all those things. It makes us happy. You can comment on Spotify episodes. You can send us messages on Instagram. We'd love to hear from you guys. We're not mean. We love hearing from you.
We're not mean, but you guys also should not be mean. Just let you know.
Yes.
Yeah.
We're
We
very
are good
sensitive
vibes
souls.
only.
Yes. Except when it comes to the book
Well, we've got opinions.
fair.
Well, thank you for teaching me today.
You're welcome. Until next time, I've been Ashley.
And I've been Abby, and this has been the Sisters of the Shire podcast, and we are so happy you joined us today, and we hope you can join us next time. Bye!
Bye.
Thank you for teaching me a day.
Yay!